Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this cake decorating tutorial, I'll be demonstrating how to create this white Christmas themed cake. I've got a 7-inch cake here and I've crumb coated and stacked it. It's stayed in the fridge so that the crumb coat has had time to really harden, and then I'm applying this final layer of frosting in a muted green color. I colored my buttercream frosting with gel food color. And now I'm just smoothing it out. Once it's heavily applied on the sides, smooth it out until you are happy with the finish, and then bring that lip of frosting towards the middle. Pop it back into the fridge to set completely for about a good 20 minutes. And then when it's nice and solid, you can start working with your meringue. So I've got about 5 or so eggs that I separated into a bowl with just the egg whites, and I've taken out the egg yolk. You can separate the egg whites into a separate container, and then every time you finish with an egg, pop it into the main container. That way, if one of the egg whites are off, it won't contaminate the whole thing. You don't have to start over. Also, note to work with room temperatured eggs when you can. It just makes for a much nicer meringue, and it fluffs up a lot easier, and you're less likely to come by any problems. I added a pinch of salt before I started whisking the egg whites, and then I've added in my icing sugar in 3 different stages, and I've whisked for a total of about 7 minutes. Once your egg whites have created, or your meringue has created nice stiff peaks, pop it into a piping bag with a nice broad circle piping tip and pipe a row along the outside of your cake. You can then fill into the center all the way out to the middle. If you're enjoying these tutorials, feel free to subscribe. We do upload a new video every week. Once your top of the cake has been covered, grab a torch and lightly torch your meringues. If you're working right up against the edge of the cake, I recommend removing the torch every couple of seconds just to make sure you don't melt down your buttercream. This is the most satisfying thing ever. If you guys haven't tried torching meringues, I highly recommend it. It's super fun. For the Christmas tree, I've taken another piping bag with a very small cut at the end, piped a tiny dollop towards the lower third of the cake and just creating a line like this. Then I take a small spatula, I push it into the dollop and drag it up diagonally. I try to land the spatula just a little bit towards the middle, so there's like a little section that it misses right up on the edge, and that'll create that kind of raised dimple area. Follow the same pattern up in a triangular formation to create a tree-like structure, and then torch that part of the meringue as well. And here I'm being a little bit more careful, so I've torched it, I'm moving the torch away from the cake and then reapplying it just so it's not too much heat at once to melt down your buttercream. I wasn't too satisfied with the height of the meringues on top, so I did another row again and then torched it. This was actually really perfect just as is. I went overboard and I just added one lonesome right at the top, kind of regretting it, but what's done is done. I think 2 rows would have been perfect. Take some edible goldriggies in a few different sizes and then just stick them straight to that torched meringue. For the snowflakes, I've used regular white fondant. I like to use the Bakehouse brand here. And then a tiny snowflake plunger cutter. I like to move it around against the table just to make sure that it comes out nice and sharp without any frilly overhanged pieces on the snowflake. Stick it directly to your frosting. You can add some meringues in the oven as well, let them dry out for about 7 hours at 100 degrees Celsius. And that's it, your white torched Christmas cake with meringue is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this cake decorating tutorial and give this one a go. If you do, hashtag Rosie's Dessert Spot so I can check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.